From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Barris here on a Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. It's probably going to be a short week for a lot of you with Thanksgiving coming on. And listen, we've got a great show on tap for us. Hey, you got a microphone over there. See, everyone's talking. They're ready to get going with us. Listen, all week long, or actually all month of November, we've had the series run with our News Channel 5 I-Team Broken, looking at juvenile crime, juvenile justice, what's happening with the kids in our community. Part of that story is not just highlighting the problem, but also looking at the solutions. Unfortunately, there's some fantastic organizations here in Middle Tennessee that are working with at-risk youth, and that's part of what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to invite you to join in the conversation or sit back and listen, because the folks on today, I think, are going to tell some real interesting stories and give us some hope, some success that's out there for kids sometimes looking for help. So let's introduce them to you this morning. We've got a lot of guests we're going to be rotating in all morning long as part of the REAL program. Now, with us this morning is Tay McGee. You are the REAL program director, correct?
Correct.
Nice to have you on, Tay.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. Also, we've got Big Joe over there. Joe Ferris. He's the REAL program coordinator. And you've brought with him, we're going to rotate them in throughout the show, several youth that have been involved in the program. Laveldo? Is that
Laveldo.
it? Laveldo, Washington. You're 17 years old. Good morning to you, Laveldo. Thanks for coming on. All right, so for a lot of folks, you were telling me when we first sat down that REAL's been around now, which stands for Real Excellence as Leaders.
Reaching excellence.
Is it reaching excellence as leaders? About 10 years now or so. And I think people that have been involved with that obviously know, but I think a lot of people may be saying it's the first time they've heard of it if they've been outside this realm. Can you give folks a little bit of an idea what it's all about?
Absolutely. So the program is called REAL. That stands for Reaching Excellence Leaders. So what we try to do is impact youth between the ages of 14 to 18.
14 to 18.
Yep, on an ongoing basis. We introduce them to a curriculum that was inspired by them as well. We also try to get them involved in college, get them involved with service projects, service learning, just anything that we can engage them, support them, help them create their goals, write out plans to reach those goals, and through the whole process we're there to support them.
Okay, and then the individuals like you and him are kind of, I mean, you're coordinators, but I'm guessing you guys are role models for them. Is that it? I mean, did you guys come from some of the same background as some of these kids?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so are they referred to you? How do you end up getting youth in the program?
So most of the young people that we get in the program starts off coming through the courts.
Okay.
So we partnership with Sheila Calloway at the Davidson County Juvenile Court. With that partnership, if anybody come through the courts, they have an opportunity, instead of being incarcerated a lot of times, a diversion program that will send them straight to the REAL program.
So they have to kind of agree, listen, we'd like to do REAL instead of, and who wouldn't do that rather than be locked up, I suppose, and they have to make a commitment.
Correct, but that's also based on the charge of the case that it is, though. But we're definitely trying to give them outcomes that are more supportive and engaging, that will actually give them options instead of just instantly being incarcerated.
On any given, time period, like currently right now, Joe, how many kids in the program?
Currently we have 15 in the program right now. 15
in the program. Now, do they come daily and stay with you, or how is it set up? Is it something where they live with you, or they're coming from with their home and then they come? How does it work?
So, okay, I got it. So most of the young people come to the program. The program runs for 8 to 9 weeks.
Okay.
We do 4 cohorts a year. Within that 4 cohorts, again, you might be at the 8-week portion or the 9-week portion. We get them 2 days out of the week.
All right.
That's every Monday and Tuesday.
Then the rest of the time they're home and maybe going to school as well? Okay.
Yep. So we're going to keep them for 2 hours, 4:30 to 6:30. Yep, and again, that's for 8 to 9 weeks, at which time they'll graduate. After that, they get the option of going to our second portion of our program, which is called the 2 REAL program. That basically stands for like Reaching Excellence Leader, but it's an advanced leadership program. So it's kind of trying to constantly follow them up until the age they're 24. So, them coming back to the program, that's optional for them.
All right. And so the idea is, you said age is basically 14 to 18. Laveldo, you're 17?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with the program?
I've been with the program since probably like 3 or 4 years now. I came from the transition, then I transferred over to the REAL program, and I've been with them ever since.
Okay, and do you mind sharing your backstory, how you ended up going and being with them? Were you referred then through juvenile justice? Or?
I was referred through the criminal justice.
So when you first heard about it and they said, look, here's your choice, I mean, did you realize what it was all about? Tell me, how did you make the decision to go and do REAL?
I heard about it before. I was happy about it because I had to be in the juvenile.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's anybody, but I heard about it. I knew before I was in the program, I already knew Tay, and I knew what kind of person he was, so I was comfortable. And you know, when somebody came from the same, when you can relate to the same background, you be more comfortable, and that's what I was looking forward to. And it changed me a whole lot, so I've been with them ever since. So
see, that's interesting. I think it's great. I'm so glad you brought some of them with, because the key then for you, would you say, was that you trusted them because of their background. You figured they'd been through what you'd been through,
so they'll understand my problem. If I tell them, they'll give me a good feedback and tell me what they done, and I can. Okay, I understand.
Is that how it worked? Tell me how when he came into the program.
So when Veldo came into the program, definitely, you know, just we try to support all our young people, man. Veldo, I definitely had a connection with him. And again, I like to say I have a connection with the better part of him, but Veldo stands out. You know, he definitely reflects and reminds me of who I was when I was younger. You know, some of the mistakes or decisions that I was making weren't based off of my character or who I was. It was based off what I was exposed to or what I seen. So from the neighborhoods I was in, I just mirrored and imaged the things I was watching. So if I see somebody doing a particular activity that happened to be a criminal activity, and that's all I see, I try to follow suit. So with Veldo, I could see that, you know, some of the things that he was involved in could, you know, not have the best results at the end.
Right.
So introduced me to the program, and since he's been in the program, he's excelled. He's doing a great thing. He again volunteered to get into the leadership program.
That's awesome.
Which is an addition. He's been part of several of our service projects. On the way here, we was talking about the college he's going to.
I was gonna say he's continuing his education. What's the plan on that?
My plan was to be aerospace engineer.
Did you ever dream of that before you got into real?
Yeah, but I was thinking about this since my freshman year. Like I'm a mechanic, but I didn't know what type of mechanic. I just found out like my junior year. But I want to do some type of mechanic. If it ain't aerospace engineer, I want to do some type of mechanics.
That's all. Where do you go to school?
Whites Creek.
Whites Creek. And so, okay, what about college? Are you just planning on going when you graduate?
I was thinking about it, but it ain't I don't know.
You're not sure yet?
I'm not sure.
I'll tell you this, college is expensive too these days, you know. Well, you can go to a 2-year school initially and you get that for free. And then you can always transfer after that. That's not a bad plan. Are your grades where they are, where you'd like to pursue that and go for, you know, if you want to be an engineer like that, I mean, you're going to have to move on.
They up there.
Background, is that your plan?
They up there.
Do you deal with parents as well? How did that work? I mean, when he comes to you, I mean, are you looking at the whole picture, not just the individual, but also the people around him?
Absolutely. You know, whoever's around you is going to kind of inspire you in some fashion, whether that's good, bad, or etc. So with the real program, there's just so many different things that we try to tap into with the young person, right? We want to expose them to understand who their identity is. Again, the program stands for, again, reaching excellence as leaders.
Right.
So our whole curriculum is designed to be about showing them and exposing them to leadership characteristics. And part of that, when you create or building or supporting a young person, you want to also be supportive of their family dynamic, because we know that's a part of the structure that they are getting influenced.
Is that sometimes part of the problem, though, the family dynamic, and you see maybe that's an issue? How do you deal with that?
I mean, it can be an issue. Yeah. It can, you know, you're definitely impacted by what happens in the household, right? So with the family dynamic portion of it, we have another component of the real program that's called family retreat.
Yeah, so you bring them in too.
Absolutely.
That's great.
So what we do is on family retreat weekend, and so it comes on a Saturday, right? We have the families to come in and we simulate some of the same activities we do with their young persons, so we can kind of be in the co-parenting process, right? Mm-hmm. So when they know the information that we're talking about, and they can also kind of reiterate that when they're at home. So we do that. Yeah.
Give them the example of that. All right, can you give me just an example before we go to our first break, maybe what an example of an activity would be? I mean, when they just tangibly, what you literally do.
I'm gonna let Joe go ahead.
So we talk about communication, right? How communication is important. Being an adult or a parent, a lot of times, you know, they're always barking out rules. They're always giving directions. So we have an activity where we get the parent and the young person, we get them back to back, and we have them describe. So we say we give them a card, right? Card has a drawing on it, so you have to be descriptive and detailed as possible while not looking at the other person, but the other person cannot talk as well. So that activity basically lets the young person, because each person does, let the young person be in control, be directive, give directions, and see how the parent listens to them. Because a lot of times parents don't listen to the young people. They always, you know, do you do this, you do that, but when it's time for them to talk, a lot of times they're not really listening. So they do a lot of giving directions instead of receiving information and internalizing it, because a lot of times when parents talk, they're not paying attention to what the young person, body language and all those components of communication that's really important. So,
Levedo, I know we're going to rotate some of your friends in as well as the show goes on, but can you just talk about how important Real has been for you? If this program wasn't around, where do you think you would be today?
I wouldn't say I'll be somewhere locked up somewhere, but they're a big motivation.
Okay.
They changed a lot of me, so therefore, everyone around, I'll probably be like, I wouldn't say I'll be bad, but I changed my ways and I done matured and I realized who really there and who really care about.
Sure.
So when you got people like that around, you should take advantage of that and don't just fly by.
Gives you a little bit of hope too for the future. It gives you an idea, like, look, I've got a future.
Yeah, they put a lot of hope in me. They really put their trust in me and believe in me that I can do better. It just takes step by step.
You're proof of that. Listen, I appreciate it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I think we'll rotate some of your colleagues in as well. We'll continue our conversation. We can take some phone calls as well, 737-7587. Want to get more into the details of what Real is all about. And yeah, give us a call if you want, or sit back and listen, because we have more guests coming on as well. We'll be right back on an important topic right after this.
I don't know if I'm supposed to wear the